going to do it the right way here. We are going to start at number 10. And here we go, baby. The number 10 team in the NFL for the 2020 season is the Buffalo Bills. Alrighty. They made the playoffs last year, second in the AFC East, 10-6 record. Sean McDermott is establishing a winning culture here. I'm a big fan of Sean McDermott as a coach overall. I think he knows what it takes. Kind of a defensive-minded head coach, and we definitely respect that. Their defense is very good as well. Tre'Davious White, possibly one of the best corners in the league. He had 6 interceptions last year, I'm pretty sure. And then to go along with it, they've got Jerry Hughes on the defensive end. They got Jermaine Edwards. They have Jordan Pryor. They have Micah Hyde. This defense is very, very solid. Now, the only big red flag of the Bills, that's kind of why they're number 10 here, is Josh Allen. 58% completion percentage. That's not going to get it done, my guy. 3,000 yards, it's all right. We want to see at least 3,500. Let's kind of look at, do I have his tab up? Let's kind of look at Josh Allen just a little bit here. Just a little bit. Here he is. What did he do in 2019? So 58% completion percentage, as I said, that's not good. That's really not good. We want to see low to mid 60s. 3,000 yards is also not good, especially when you're playing all 16 games. You want to be at the 4,000 mark. That's where the good and kind of elite quarterbacks are. 4,000 yards, 65% completion. That's where we really want to be at. So yes, it was his only second year, so he is going to have to step it up kind of mightily here. So the accuracy is just a little bit of the problem. But as we see from year 1 to year 2, making a good jump, 52 to 58%. So we need him to really step it up in year 3. That's why I'm putting the Bills at number 10. I love their defense. I love their coach. Their weapons are good. They just got Stephon Diggs. That's going to really help Josh Allen mature as a quarterback and put up some good numbers. Stephon Diggs, 1,100 yards last year with the Vikings. Absolutely fantastic. Devin Singletary kind of coming together here for the Bills. 700 yards at the running back position. So should be, increasing that here in the 2020 season. But, Bills at 10. They've got a lot of upside. It's really just how well Josh Allen is going to do. I've expressed my concerns with Josh Allen. Maybe McDermott doesn't really trust him too much because, as I said, in that playoff game, they did make the playoffs, got to the wild card against the Houston Texans. They got up to a good lead, but they kind of fell apart because they kind of didn't trust Josh Allen. Let's look what he did in that playoff game, shall we? When they got out to that good lead in the playoff game, it was just a lot of trick plays, a lot of, misdirection to try and drive down the field. They really didn't trust Josh Allen in that playoff game. We'll see it. No touchdowns, no picks. No picks is good, but no touchdowns. 264 yards, 52% completion percentage. That just really shows me that Sean McDermott does not trust Josh Allen a whole lot to throw the ball and win the game for this offense. Hopefully with the addition of Stephon Diggs, he's able to kind of throw the ball a little bit more, trust his arm a little bit more. Stephon Diggs is a great deep ball receiver. Josh Allen doesn't have the best deep ball accuracy, but hopefully Stephon Diggs can maybe put a Band-Aid over that just for the time being as he kind of develops here. Yes, it is only his 3rd season, but I love this Bills defense, and that's why I have the Bills at number 10. Alrighty, here we go now. Number 9, it's going to be the Tennessee Titans. They were looking pretty good in that playoff run. Derrick Henry's back. Ryan Tannehill is back. Mike Vrabel seems like the real deal as head coach. They went 9-7, but Marcus Mariota played for about the first half of the season. They bring in Ryan Tannehill as the starter, and he's able to lead them to the playoffs. Alrighty, so they got Jadeveon Clowney on the defensive end of the ball. He's kind of been floating around the league a little bit. That is a red flag, changing teams consistently. And then they have Malcolm Butler on the defensive end. He kind of got, kicked out of New England a little early, kind of caught everybody by surprise. They have Kevin Byard at the safety position. So their defense is all right, not fantastic. I don't think it's as good as the Bills' defense, but I do like Ryan Tannehill better than Josh Allen, and I like Derrick Henry better than Singletary. So. And they made the playoffs last year, so you can kind of give them, a little bit of the credit, respect here on the list, putting them at number 9. Ryan Tannehill, he's a good quarterback. He is going to kind of have to step it up just a little bit more. He's kind of a career 62% completion percentage, kind of 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's kind of what you expect from Ryan Tannehill. I think I have his stats up. Do I have his stats up? What did he do last year at yards? 2,700 yards. It was only in 10 games, so we can give him there. But, he doesn't really, threw for 4,000 2 years in a row, so that's good when he was in Miami. So the yards are there. The completion percentage, he threw 70% last year. That's actually really, really good. Just overall kind of a 64% completion percentage, which is still very good. That's exactly where I want you to be as a quarterback. So he can definitely get the job done, no doubt. Derrick Henry, fantastic rusher. The only red flag I have on this team is in those first 2 playoff games, Ryan Tannehill only completed about 12 passes total in 2 playoff games. Then they kind of counted on him. Actually, let's go to that. We can go to that. Here we go. Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs. Here we go. Let's look at these game logs in the playoffs, because that is kind of the one flag on this team. The defense is decent. They've got weapons. Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Corey Davis as the receivers, good tall receivers. A.J. Brown is 6 foot. Corey Davis I think is 6'3", so they've got the height at the receiver position. They have a fantastic running back in Derrick Henry. But here we go. Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs. Game 1 against New England, 8 of 15, 53% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That's not good. They didn't win that game because of Ryan Tannehill. They won that because of Derrick Henry. And then against Baltimore, once again, Derrick Henry carrying the load. Ryan Tannehill, 7 of 14, 50%. Really not trusting him, not throwing the ball a lot, kind of easing him into the playoffs here. 2 touchdowns, that's good. No picks. Hey, we can get behind that all day. But mostly Derrick Henry carrying the load here against Baltimore. And then here they go in the AFC Championship game. Yes, they faced the Chiefs, so we can give the Titans the benefit of the doubt for losing that game, but they kind of trusted Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball a lot. 67% completion percentage, that's very good. 2 touchdowns, no picks, but it just still wasn't enough to kind of overcome this Kansas City high-powered offense. So they didn't really trust him to throw the ball a lot in the first 2 games. He does pretty decently in that 3rd playoff game against the Chiefs, but hopefully he can kind of keep that going here in his second season, his first full starting season it's going to be for the Titans. So they're kind of returning all their players. They're trying to run it back here. They saw they were able to get to the AFC Championship game, so they're like, hey, why not? Why can't we do it again? So Ryan Tannehill, he is going to need to be the staple here. He is going to need to perform very high level as the starting quarterback if they want to try and repeat as AFC Championship contenders. So that's why they are at number 9. All right, number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'll tell you why I absolutely love their defense. They have maybe one of the best defenses in the league. They've got T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree, Joe Hayden, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, probably the best safety in the league. They traded for him from Miami midway through the season, and he's been absolutely fantastic. This defense for the Steelers is absolutely kind of the main reason why they are at number 8. The big red flag is Big Ben going to return to Big Ben form, right? Coming off that injury. Doesn't have all the weapons he's used to. Has Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a good receiver. Kind of has to establish himself as the number 1. They don't have a great running back, James Conner. Just all right. Just a dog in the at the running back position, about like 600 yards I think he rushed for last season. James Washington is kind of emerging as that number 2 star wide receiver, and then they have Eric Ebron for the tight end position. But Big Ben, we kind of have to go on what he's shown us in the past, and he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's a good quarterback, so I expect him to kind of return to that form in some way. But I expect this kind of Steelers defense to really carry the load. I mean, as we saw last year, they went 8-8 with Duck Hodges, and I don't even know, they were kind of splitting those 16 games when Big Ben went down. So they went 8-8 with trash quarterbacks. And now you get Big Ben. Your defense is kind of even better than it was. So Big Ben is going to be kind of the make it or break it for the Steelers here, and I'll bet on that he makes this team. They'll do better than 8-8 when you're upgrading at quarterback, and you expect the wins to go up at least a little bit, right? So 8-8 they last season. They probably go 10-6 this season, make the playoffs in some capacity. Probably don't win the division against the Ravens, but could possibly fight for a wild card spot. So we do have the Steelers at number 8. Alrighty, now time for team number 7. We've got the Rams. I really like Jared Goff. When you look at his stats, here you're like, that's an elite quarterback. 62% completion last season. That's pretty good. Exactly in that range that I say you kind of want to be at. 4,600 yards. Absolutely magnificent. You don't see a lot of passers throwing for 4,000 yards, and especially over 4,500. So the fact that Jared Goff was able to do 4,600 last year is very good. The one knock on Jared Goff is the high interceptions. 22 touchdowns last season, 16 interceptions. That cannot happen again. They lost Todd Gurley, so they're kind of bringing in a rookie running back. They have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, decent receivers. Not, none of those are star receivers, but good, solid receivers. Cooper Kupp is really kind of emerging here in the past 2 seasons. Their defense is all right too. They have Aaron Donald up front. They have Jalen Ramsey. The reason I have them at number 7 is because this is kind of a do or die season for not only Sean McVay, but for Jared Goff as well. So I expect them to kind of figure it all out here. Sean McVay, was at the highest of highs when he first joined this Rams team for making the Super Bowl, but has slowly kind of started to drop down everybody's list of top coaches in the league. So the reason I have them at number 7 is that this team, they've got some good weapons. They went 9-7 last year. That's not bad, especially in a tough NFC West division. But, Sean McVay and Jared Goff both need to prove something this season. I think they kind of step it up a little bit. Their defense is all right. As I said, maybe one of the best corners in the league in Jalen Ramsey, and maybe one of the best defensive ends in the league in Aaron Donald. But kind of like that linebacking core is not great. Decent safeties. But I do like Jared Goff kind of better than Big Ben and Josh Allen and Ryan Tannehill. So that's why I have them at number 7. And, we've seen Sean McVay, kind of scheme very well. So, hopefully he's able to kind of get back to his peak performance as head coach. So that's why I have them at number 7. Alrighty, now we're kind of getting into very close, I'm talking like inches between these next 6 through number 1. It's all very, very close because some of these teams in the league, man, are really wild. But so don't kill me when I'm releasing 6 through 1. It's very, 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 very close between every single layer here. So here we go. Number 6. The 49ers. Yes, they made the Super Bowl last year. Yes, they went 13-3, but they lost a lot of good players. They lost a huge weapon in Emmanuel Sanders. That's going to hurt Jimmy Garoppolo just a little bit. They lost a they lost to Forrest Buckner. That's a huge defensive piece missing. They lose Joe Staley. That's a huge offensive line piece. They lose Matt Breida. They draft a rookie running back, so they'll be rocking with him. They have no real great weapons at wide receiver now for Jimmy Garoppolo. They have Deebo Samuel. That's going to be their number 1 receiver. They have Raheem Mostert as their running back. It's just not going to be that explosive as they were last year. Jimmy Garoppolo, 64% completion percentage, 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's kind of just good. That's kind of average, a little above average. So he's not showing us anything too spectacular when he had Emmanuel Sanders, and now they just don't have a lot of weapons on offense. Their defense took a little bit of a hit. They still have Richard Sherman, who's a fantastic corner, no doubt. They have Nick Bosa. You can make the argument for best defensive end in the league. They have Jimmy Ward as well at the safety. But yeah, they've just lost a couple of key pieces kind of everywhere. Good receiver gone, good offensive lineman gone, good defensive lineman gone, and good running back gone. So they didn't really fill in those holes too much in free agency. So we'll see how they are kind of going to react here, coming off a losing Super Bowl with, once again, Kyle Shanahan kind of blowing some calls in the Super Bowl. We've seen it time and time again. So we have the 49ers at number 6. Alrighty, number 5, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because their offense is loaded, y'all. They bring in Tom Brady. They have Mike Evans already. They bring in Rob Gronkowski. They bring in Leonard Fournette. They bring in LaShawn McCoy. They have Chris Godwin already. So this Tampa Bay Bucs team is absolutely loaded. The question marks are going to come from their defensive side of the ball. They have Ndamukong Suh, yes. They have Jason Pierre-Paul, yes. But they're kind of old, and Tom Brady's kind of old. So how well is this team actually going to be when they have a ton of young competition? They have the Chiefs. They have the 49ers. They have the Ravens. They have, not kind of young, but, Russell Wilson. They have to, kind of compete with the Seahawks for talent. So this is an aging team. They're in a very win-now mode. Brady, 61% completion last year. That's kind of, his low. So is the drop-off already showing? Maybe just a little bit. 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio is very, very good. How much does Tom Brady have left in the tank? How much does Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul have left in the tank? They have no real huge names at the cornerback or safety position, so their defense is really going to have to step up, or their offense is going to have to outscore the other team's offense because this defense couldn't really do anything spectacular. Their one silver lining is they went 7-9 last year with Jameis Winston, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions last year for him, so he was able to put up the points, but also hurting himself, so hopefully Tom Brady can, do the 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 30 touchdowns and 10 picks. That would definitely help that 7-9 record. But nobody is questioning this Bucs offensive talent. It's just they're kind of an older team all around in their key pieces, especially on the defensive end of the ball. So we have the Bucs at number 5. Alrighty, number 4 now, we have the Baltimore Ravens. And the only reason I have them at number 4 is really because they're going to have, all the teams are going to have film on Lamar Jackson. So are they going to be able to kind of key in and what he's doing? I mean, absolutely fantastic year for him last year. 66% completion percentage, 3,100 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and then he's a dual threat. So he put up 1,200 yards on the ground and then another 7 touchdowns. So absolutely monstrous season. Put up over 4,300 yards, over 40 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The man can play, but now that every team is having film on him going into his second full season here with the Ravens, how is he going to respond and make adjustments? Their offense is pretty good. They got Marquise Hollywood Brown, great receiver. They have Willie Snead, that's a fantastic number 2. They have Mark Ingram as running back, and obviously Lamar Jackson. Their defense took a little bit of a hit. They lose Earl Thomas, they lose Brandon Carr, and they lose 3 defensive tackles. So their defense is taking a little bit of a hit. Their offense are going to have tape on Lamar Jackson, but overall still this Baltimore team is still good. When you have John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, they're still going to get the job done. It's just how well of a job are they going to do. So that's why the Ravens are at number 4. Alrighty. Number 3, may get me killed. I don't know. Here we go. The Chiefs. They just lost a ton of key pieces. Nobody's judging Andy Reid's talent. Nobody's judging Patrick Mahomes' talent. We know they're great, but they kind of lost a couple of key offensive pieces. LaShawn McCoy's gone. Spencer Ware is gone. Maurice Claiborne for defense. Kendall Fuller for defense. They have a rookie running back that they drafted. How well is he going to be? He's going to be starting, so how well is he going to be playing? Yes, they have Tyreek Hill, one of the best speedy wide receivers in the league. They have Sammy Watkins, who's kind of shown that he's been a little hit or miss. He had a good season last year for the Chiefs, but when he played for the Bills, not overall great. On the defensive side, they only basically have Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu now, so lost a key pieces on defense, a couple of good weapons on offense as well. Patrick Mahomes, 65% completion last year, 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Those numbers are very, very good. Nobody's judging this man. Nobody's doubting this man. It's just kind of some key pieces, kind of what the Ravens did. They lose a couple of key pieces kind of everywhere. They're losing a couple of key pieces everywhere. So we have the Chiefs at number 3 because these next two teams are stacked on offensive and defensive sides of the ball. So here we go. Number 2 is the New Orleans Saints. They've been getting burned in the playoffs for the last 3 seasons. I expect them to play with so much urgency, so much revenge. These running quarterbacks, they have tape on them now. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. So people are going to know kind of how to play it a little bit better now. They had a full offseason to study. So we are going to kind of go with proven veteran quarterbacks that are pure passers most likely. So with, you have Drew Brees, obviously fantastic. He's my probably GOAT. I think he may be the best quarterback ever to play the game. Their offense is absolutely stacked. They have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders now. They have Jared Cook at the tight end position. So, oh my God, they have weapons all over the field. And then you have Drew Brees distributing the ball. On their defensive side, they're also stacked. Jordan Cameron up front. Davenport, Marcus Davenport, Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, DJ Swearinger, Marshawn Lattimore. Absolutely magnificent pieces from the defensive line to the linebackers to the cornerbacks to the safeties. They are stacked. This team is so stacked. I expect them to do great things here for the Saints. They're in a kind of a tough division with the Bucs. But I highly suspect that this team is one of the best teams in the NFL. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens kind of take just a little bit of a step back just because, running quarterbacks, they have tape on them now. So we are going to kind of go with tried and true passers here. So that's why the Saints are at number 2. They're stacked on offense, stacked on defense, whereas, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the 49ers all kind of lose some key pieces. The Saints and this number 1 team are still stacked. So Saints are at number 2. And that leaves one team. Who could it be? If you're playing along, who would it be? Would it be the Vikings? I leave them out of the top 10. Is it the Packers? I left them out of the top 10. Are they the number 1? No, it's not. It's going to be the Seattle Seahawks, baby. They don't have the best offensive weapons, I'll give you that, but they have Russell Wilson. They have good, solid receivers. Tyler Lockett, DJ Metcalf, Philip Dorsett. They have good linemen as well. Chris Carson is going to be their running back. He's decent. He rushed for about 600 yards last season, but this defense is still stacked, y'all. KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irving, Jamal Adams, best safety in the league. You can make the case. Quandre Diggs and Trey Flowers. And then Pete Carroll is coaching all of them. So, yes, this is maybe the Legion of Boom 2.0 maybe. Some of the Legion of Boom hasn't even left. They bring in Jamal Adams, Trey Flowers. Quandre Diggs is still fantastic. Just their offense is maybe a little lacking from what the Saints have. But Russell Wilson, I think, is probably the best quarterback in the league. They were able to get into the playoffs. They lost against the Packers. That is unfortunate. But, this defense got a lot better. The line improved a lot. That's going to help Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson doesn't need, A1 receivers. So Tyler Lockett and Philip Dorsett and DK Metcalf, who's kind of been a young emerging star here, they're going to work, and I really, really love this Seattle defense. So, yeah, they are our number one team. So number 10, the Bills. The Bills. Number 9, the Tennessee Titans. 8, the Steelers. 7, the Rams. 6, the 49ers. 5, the Bucks. 4, the Ravens, 3, the Chiefs, 2, the Saints, and 1, the Seattle Seahawks. We will keep updating this list as the season progresses, but this is what I like going into this season, what the teams have done in the offseason. I think the Chiefs and Ravens kind of take us just a slight step back, and the Saints, they got so much talent on their team, and I can't doubt Russell Wilson. So I have the Seahawks at number 1. Alrighty, we're not just done quite yet. We have to do our Moneymaker. What did we do yesterday? Well, I told y'all at the top of the show, y'all. We hit, baby, 2-team parlay. Heat -4, they win by 10, eliminating the Bucks in a gentleman's sweep. And the Lakers -5, and they win by 10 against the Rockets and take game number 3. So we hit yesterday, and we are looking to hit again. So what do we have? Also, today is possibly the last day of 2 basketball games on a nightly basis, so get used to that. We are going to start having one game now on Thursday because the Heat are taking care of business early. So if the Celtics take care of business today, say goodbye to 2 basketball games every other night. We are moving into the 1 game a night territory. So here we go. Celtics-Raptors, Game 6, must win for the Raptors. I expect them to come out with a little bit of urgency here, make it a little bit of a more competitive game than last time where they only put up 89 points in game number 5. But I like the Celtics overall. Celtics have kind of been riding, what have they been riding, like the -1 a little bit? Celtics -1 last time. I expect this to kind of move up to maybe Celtics -3. If it's any more than 5, we may take the Raptors. We still think the Celtics win, but 5 could be a little too much for me to swallow for the Celtics. But overall, I like the Celtics. I think the line maybe moves up to -2, -3 for the Celtics. But if that is the case, we will still take the Celtics. All right, then we have the Clippers and Nuggets. Nuggets have been riding that +9 line for a little bit. They covered it last time, which is good. We hit that. Nuggets +9. The Clippers win by 6. Everything was kind of going right for the Nuggets except for Jamal Murray. We know that Porzingis was giving the Clippers trouble from his outside scoring and down low game, and Jokic is kind of also emulating that here as well in this series. So if it's still +9, I think I may ride the Nuggets +9 one more time here. It's going to be tight. I think Jamal Murray is going to have a better game. He had 17 points last game, so I expect him to step it up a little bit more. Jokic is always the constant. He's going to get you 30 points. And Michael Porter Jr., I expect him to continue his success here in the series. So if it's still Nuggets +9, we still take it. We probably drop off if it's Clippers -6, but I don't think it's going to drop any. I think it is going to stay. So here we go. Let's update these lines and see what we are working with here. Alrighty, so Celtics -3.5. That's what I kind of thought would happen, and I'm still comfortable taking it. I think the Celtics win it. We'll see if the refs are helping the Raptors. If the refs want this to go 7, they'll make it go 7. So hopefully that's not the case, but just the talent of the Celtics, their stars are better than the Raptors role players, and I'm comfortable taking the Celtics -3.5. And then we have the Clippers Nuggets. All right, dropping just a point. A little concerning, but overall we'll take it. We saw the Mavs give the Clippers some trouble there in the first series, and that's because Luka's a fantastic point guard, and Kristaps Porzingis is a dual threat up top and down low. Nuggets emulate that just a little bit. Murray's not obviously as good as Doncic, but we've seen Murray put up 50-point performances, and we know that Jokic is kind of on par with Kristaps Porzingis. He can hit the three, he can go down low kind of consistently. So we are going to still rock with the Nuggets +8 here. Would have liked it if it was still +9, but Clippers, they've kind of been a little shoddy here so far. Close games, close series. It was 2-2 before Porzingis got injured, and then they ran away with it. But Denver Nuggets, they're all here. They're all healthy. They'll make a competitive series. Here we go into game number 3. Can Nuggets take the game? Most likely not, but the 8 is it's a good spread to take. So Nuggets got blown out in game 1 by about 27. Nuggets win game 2, and they lose game 3 kind of close. Kind of got no calls late in the fourth quarter. Jokic was being hacked down low, so we still are comfortable rocking the 8-point spread there. Alrighty, so that will do it for today. Our official moneymaker is Heat -3.5 and the Nuggets +8. So go and bet it big, y'all, because we hit yesterday. We went back just 2 days ago, and then we took a game off or a day off because we didn't hit, got kind of humbled a little bit, and now we are back. So we know what we're talking about here. We're kind of shooting about 67% in our takes, in our picks. So go bet it big, and let your money work for you guys. Alrighty, tomorrow we will get in depth into the Thursday night kickoff game for the Chiefs and Texans. We'll review